All right, we're going live, Pez.
All right, welcome to Secure the Bag. I'm Dr. Lakeisha McKnight, and I'm here with my co-host, none other than
Mr. Matthew Taylor, the Millennium Multi-Millionaire, your tailor-made wealth gardener. Welcome.
Yes, indeed. We're excited, everybody, to be here with you because we go live with this wealth discussion every Sunday around 6:00 p.m. Eastern Time. Normally is when we're live. We're a little bit behind schedule today, but nonetheless, we are indeed here. So make sure you set your alarm so you can join us right here. We're actually live on the YouTube channel. And don't forget, everyone, this is something you don't want to miss, especially if you like to learn and enhance yourself in terms of money. Now, cousin, and for those who don't know, he is my biological cousin, so I may say cousin every now and then. Mr. Taylor, go ahead and share with our viewers, those who may be checking this out for the first time, what is Secure the Bag all about? What is this about?
So Secure the Bag is literally a place, a space where we have wealth discussions, right? So not your typical presentation style conversation. We literally have conversations about wealth, freedom, especially because those people that know what Secure the Bag means, secure wealth, freedom, time, all that kind of stuff. And so we did this some years back, and we were doing a presentation for some millennials, right? Mm-hmm. And they wanted some information about a wealth building opportunity that we were a part of. And it kind of snowballed forward into, we kept doing it every week. And now here we are doing it again. We used to do Thursdays. Now we're doing it, of course, on Sundays. Amazing, because there are opportunities all around us. And we like to have conversations around opportunities, conversations that create cash flow, as Myron Golden was talking about. And so we're going to share some dialogue with you today. Of course, towards the middle end, if you want to chime in, say a few things, especially if you're on the Zoom, we allow time for that as well. And so Dr. McKnight and I, we're excited because there are amazing times ahead of us if you see it for yourself. So,
and that's the key. You have to be able to see it for yourself, and understand how to really maneuver, how to really to move around and to make some important moves so that you can build a wealth for yourself and for your family. So for those of you that don't know, again, this is something that we do on a weekly basis, and we encourage you to invite others to tune in as well. All right, tune in, plug into what it is that we do have going on. And so again, every Sunday we have a topic that we cover. And so on tonight, what are we going to be focusing on? And when did this come about? Because this is an interesting topic that we come up with. Now, we talk about different topics related to money, related to wealth building, because I believe it's important. As the word of God says, a wise man leaves an inheritance for his children and his children's children. And so we want to be able to do that. And we're actually doing it. We're implementing, we're learning, we're increasing our education in terms of money and wealth building, and we're empowering people like yourself to do the very same thing. And so we had an event, and it's a live event, a wealth building seminar we had in Hampton, Virginia. So for those of you who are in the 757 area, or if you know people in that area, stay tuned. We'll definitely keep you abreast as to the events that we do host, okay? And we actually are working on updating our website so you can be informed there. But we had a wealth building seminar, and while we were there, we use an analogy because with the company, we're connected to a company, and it allows us to be able to accumulate assets. And as we've mentioned before in previous videos, assets are the vehicles that actually put money into your pocket. So you exchange cash and you acquire a vehicle, an asset that would actually grow and increase in value or make money for you. Okay, so it has the ability to increase in value or bring money to you and actually make money for you. So we had the discussion and we came about an analogy. Now, what was that analogy, Mr. Taylor, that we were speaking of at the seminar last night?
So we talked about how your networking business, right? And this can apply to any business, right? If we want to be generic, it's like a cake. Mm-hmm. And there's a difference between how you set up your cake, right? Because there are people that focus on the least nutritious part of the cake, the icing, the sweet, versus the foundation. And if you focus on the icing and the sweetness, you won't have enough nutritional value to maintain the health of your business when it's time to get put in the oven.
That's that. So you're talking about, okay, so there's different parts of a cake. So if we were to be clear and if you were to visualize a cake in front of you, even a birthday cake or a wedding cake, visualize that. You got the main, what do you even call that part of the cake?
You got the batter. So the batter, you got to have your eggs.
Right.
You talking to a baker right now, right? You got to have your eggs. You got to have your oil. I ain't gonna say oil.
Right.
I ain't country. I'm from Jersey. You got to have your oil, right?
Yeah.
You got to have your milk, depending on what kind of cake you're baking, right? And then of course you got, whether it's chocolate, whether it's different confectionery stuff, you may add that to your batter as well. But you got to have your foundation, right? Just like we often have talked about the two houses, right? Some houses built upon the sand, unstable, versus the house that's built upon a rock. Right. Well, what's the difference? What house are you building your business on? Are you building your business on confectionery highs that allow you to get not nutritious value to the point where when it's consumed and over time it gives you a bellyache to the point where you consumed all of the parts that don't bring value to you?
Yeah.
And now you wonder why you're going like this because you may have diabetes.
Right.
You built a foundation where you have the breading, you have the foundation enough where it can last longer, right? And it brings more value to you, it brings more sustenance to you, because people that focus on the sugar highs often end up with a tummy ache,
right?
Versus those that focus on the base. And tonight we're here to talk about having a base when it comes to your business.
That's good. That's good. You got to have a base for your business. I also look at it like this. When you're baking a cake, since we're talking about that analogy, if your network marketing or any type of business was a cake. So if you were to utilize that analogy, think about it in terms of if you're going to, whatever type of container you're going to use to bake your cake in, when you're thinking about your elders, when they first taught you how to bake a cake, what did you first have to do? Yes, you have the container, but were you to just start pouring the batter inside of the container, or were you supposed to do something very important first? Think about this for a moment. Most people forget this. And there are certain things you need to do before you even get started. Yes, you need to understand what you're working with. You need to gather together the ingredients and find out, think about what the final product should look like first and foremost. What should the final product look like? How do you want your cake to look? How do you want it to taste? But then also, in terms of foundation, some people either, put oil on the side of the container, and then they sift a little flour at the bottom as well. Why? We don't want it to be too oily down there. And then when you put the batter in and it starts to bake in the oven, we need it to bake a certain way. We don't want it to be stuck. We don't want your cake to be stuck. Think about this way. Most people, if you're not sure, if you're doing too much of something, if there's not balance, and if you're not sure of how certain things work, you'll find yourself stuck. Just like if you're not paying attention to what you're doing with your cake and you miss those very important steps at the very beginning with the oil on the side and with the flour that you got to sift around and kind of shake it around so that it's even around the edges of the container for your cake. If it's not adequate enough, if you don't have that flour there, guess what's going to end up happening? Again, you're going to find your cake is going to be stuck. You're going to be stuck. So it's important that you understand how all of it works, understand the steps, and don't miss important steps in the process of baking your cake, or in this instance, creating a business and running a successful business. What are your thoughts about that, Mr. Taylor?
And one thing that is so important when you put all your ingredients together, as you talked about, there's a thing called the mold.
That's it.
The only way the mold of a cake, which is the shaping of your cake, your shaping of your bake, only way that it works is when it's tried in heat, when it's tried in fire, when it's baked in 360 degrees or 425 degrees. Every business has to go through a baking process, right? Because it's what molds the business. In fact, myself and Dr. Knight, we're actually and we've gone through molding processes before. We could be
Yes.
going through them again, right? Because we're
Right.
going to another level in business.
That's right.
So it's
That's
a
right.
part of the process, but the question is, how have you molded your cake? How have you molded
Mm.
your business? And what type of container is it?
Mm.
Because if it's not right, if you didn't put the flour, like she said, and put the oil so that it gets stuck to the pan, when it's time to release your business to the world, will it be stuck at the level that lid, or will it break through to past where it was supposed to be, where it creates value for the world? Because if your business doesn't create enough value, it's going to stay stuck where it is.
That's good. That's good.
Versus you being tried in fire, tried in adversity, that business will be able to be released because there's enough value for the world to be able to benefit from.
That's good. That's so good. So good. So good. Being tried in the fire. I mean, and be careful not to, I think, delayed gratification is also good too, especially in terms of building a business. Sometimes we're looking for things to happen overnight when it comes to building a business, but you need to give it time.
Mm.
You need to give you give yourself time, give your business time, give, your partners in business, give everyone time to succeed. Don't expect it to happen overnight. And you need to check on it too. When you're baking a cake, come on, everybody know you get a toothpick or something, you put it in the bunt part of it just to see if it's done on the inside. And you take a look, is it any liquid on that toothpick? Oh, it ain't no liquid on that thing. Oh, let me pop that thing right back in the oven so it can keep on baking. It needs some more time. So give your business time to succeed. Give yourself time to succeed. And some people say, well, why am I not a millionaire yet? Why am I not extremely wealthy yet? Let me get that toothpick. Let me put it in you. So you're not even ready. You're not even done. See, here's the thing. It's a continual baking process for us. There is no, oh, I'm done. I've reached the pinnacle. I've reached the top. No, not for us as the people. Your business also goes through seasons, right? It goes through seasons and it has layers to it. Think about it in terms of a wedding cake. If you're going to make an extravagant birthday cake, there's layers to it. And think if you were to compare, a wedding cake, for example, to a home-based business, what do most people do when they have wedding cakes? What do most people do? Some people take that top part of the cake and they freeze it. And then a year later, maybe 2 years, they'll go back to that little piece they put in the freezer and they defrost that thing and they try to see how fresh it still is, right?
It's still in the freezer.
So they see how fresh it is. And why is that? It's almost like comparing it to a business where you go back and you review how things have progressed, how things have changed. How have you adapted to the changes in different seasons? It's just like that with the cake. How fresh is that cake? How fresh is your business? What are some things, some seasons your business had to go through to get to where it is today? And your business is going to face different seasons. But it's important that you go back and you check on it. See how it's doing. Don't just start something. Don't go back and check on it. But also the most important thing too, that you mentioned it also a bit earlier in this video, Mr. Taylor, make sure that we major in the major things.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we mean. And that's really what brought up this topic of if your business was a cake, whether it's a network marketing business, a thought leader style business where you're creating content. Think about it like this. What are you focusing on the longest in your business? What is your focus? Where is your focus in your business? Are you focusing on what's most important? Excuse me. Or are you focusing on something that actually you can possibly outsource and give to someone who has that particular skill? Maybe that's their main skill. If your skill is not designing flyers and marketing and things of that nature, perhaps you need to outsource that.
So what it sounds like you're saying is you need a team.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Because we were taught in school that you take a test by yourself. But we're talking about baking, and baking is a test, right? You're testing to see if what you have is enough for it to grow and for the manifest something delicious for yourself.
Right.
And what you were saying, it reminds me of this wonderful scripture said, to whom much is given, much is required.
Mm-hmm.
right? And we're talking about you want to get to $1 million, right?
Right.
But you can't get to it if you're not faithful over the few things,
That's good.
right? It said if you're faithful over the few things, he'll make a reward over many things. That means you got to be faithful even if you have that small slice. You manage that slice well, right? Because we were around people and we have our moments as well, but we were around people that were so focused on the sugar that they forgot the breading. They were so focused on the sweetness of what they had their hands on that they forgot that they need to continuously build. We had one of our leaders, Mr. Dalco, did a video called "The Launch the Leader, the Legend."
Right.
And we got so caught up in managing asset that we forgot one of the greatest assets, especially in the networking space, is not the asset of money that produces, but the asset of people that speak on what you're producing.
That's good.
Because people can infinitely faster than money can because of who they know, who knows somebody's sister, cousins, uncle, and them, who know somebody else.
Right.
That can literally change. One person can change your entire life. One relationship with a billionaire has changed myself, Dr. Knight's life. So one relationship, you're one relationship away from getting to the next level of your business. You're one relationship away from getting to the next level of you being able to pay off all your debts. You're one relationship away. But if you fail to neglect how you're baking your cake, you will miss that opportunity.
That's right. That's right.
This
is good. This is good. And my prayer is that you all are gleaning and gathering some nuggets from what it is that we're sharing, just doing this comparison of your business to a cake. There's so many things, so many ways to compare, and we don't want to overwhelm. We talked about the foundation you would create. We talked about the importance of not getting stuck, majoring in the most important things and outsourcing those things that that's not something you should be in, that should be in your peripheral right now. If it's not a skill set that you possess, give it to someone else who has that skill set. That way you can get more accomplished, inside of your business, and focus on what's most important in this season. This season, it may call for some, for you to focus on a certain area within your business, okay, versus, focusing on another element of it, another side of it. And for those of us who are a part of the wealth building system that we're connected to, don't forget to keep the main thing the main thing. And maybe some of you who are watching this, you're not sure what we're connected to. We're connected to a platform called GSP. And again, for more details on what GSP is, it is a platform that allows us to accumulate assets, and we gain rewards, through those assets. So we're talking about this new digital era that we're a part of that involves cryptocurrency. It involves the blockchain space and the metaverse space. For those of you might have heard of Meta, as in what Facebook is, Meta, right? So we have this metaverse. It's this platform where it allows us to be able to create wealth and do it on our own terms. There's so many things we can do through the metaverse without, confusing everyone, but it just gives you the ability to build wealth in this new space in which we're in. So if you're watching this, if you're so happen to go past this video, for those of you on YouTube, if you want and need more information, take a look in the description area. If you don't see it immediately, come back a few hours later. And we're going to make sure that there's more content inside of the description area so that you can reach out to us if you have any questions. And we do know that there are some people who are actually on the Zoom platform with us. So for those who are on the Zoom with us right now, if you have any questions about building a business, if you have any questions about, what you should be focusing on in this season, as an entrepreneur, or if you have any comments you want to make, feel free to unmute your line. Again, we do see that we had a young man who connected with us through Telegram. If you have something that you want to say in relationship to what we discussed today, you're able to unmute yourself. And we also see Kenya is on the platform too with us. So feel free, we'll give you a couple seconds to see if you have something you would like to share tonight. And we do have some things that we are going to provide reminders of as well as we prepare to wrap this up. And just keep in mind with our discussions, We try to keep our discussions to around about 20 minutes or so, 25 minutes at the max. It's not meant to be a full blown out training. This is a wealth/business building, because wealth is a business too. It's a wealth discussion. So, Mr. Taylor, what are some things that they should be aware of as we progress forward with this channel here on YouTube, and also for those who are on the Zoom platform?
So we're going to say, of course, like and subscribe. Secure the bag, right? Like and subscribe. My Money Works, secure the bag. Here's the reason why you want to subscribe, because we're not going anywhere.
Right.
Wealth is a journey. And we talked about the cake. There's so many people getting cakes, who have gotten cakes, who lost their cake because they focus on the icing.
Right.
We're going to show you how to focus on the right ingredients so that you can get the cake, be able to bake it, because there's going to be some fire happening, ladies and gentlemen. If you haven't paid attention to what's going on in our economy, with inflation, with things happening worldwide, right? You've got to put yourself in a position where you're around people who are baking the way that you bake. When I say that, I'm talking about having the mindset, right? If you don't have that mindset of, regardless of whatever happens around me, I'm connected to the source, first of all. Everything else is a resource. But because I'm connected to the right resources, I'll be just fine. And you'll be just fine. So you want to connect with myself, Dr. McKnight. We'll share some more information with you. If you're just chiming into this channel, we'd love for you to, once again, subscribe, like, share this information, because the information is not for us. We don't have to do this. We're doing this because we believe there is a message that needs to be released into the atmosphere that allows people to know that there are ways to provide for your family, right? College. There are ways for you to provide if you're retiring soon, right? There are ways to provide if you just need to get help with bills, right? All that is a part of wealth. The main thing is you want to create sustainability. You want to be able to create value. You want to be able to create something that your children could be a part of, that you can be a part of, your family can be a part of, where you're not sweating money. One of our mentors, Mr. Delk, always talks about get money out of the way, so money's out of the way, so you can live.
That's it. So again, be sure to remain connected with us. And when you do subscribe, just make sure your notifications are on, for the channel, because we don't want you to miss a beat. As we already mentioned, we go live. We provide this wealth discussion every Sunday, and we're going to do our very best to start at 6:00 p.m. Eastern time. So mark it down. And if you're outside of the United States, you may have to do some time conversion so that you don't miss the conversations as well. So with that in mind, again, we thank you so very much for tuning in to Secure the Bag on tonight. Be blessed. Again, Mr. Taylor, thank you so very much as well. And for those of you on Zoom, we appreciate you for being here with us. Also, just connect with us if you do have any questions, and then we'll do our very best to answer them for you. Be blessed and enjoy the rest of your evening. Take care, everybody.
Have a great evening, everybody.